what you're about to hear. We're joined this morning by Iyola Akande, who is the Southwest Zonal Coordinator of the National Emergency Management Agency. Morning, and thank you for coming on today.
Good morning, Chamberlain. Good morning, Nigerians.
All right, then looking at this matter, I mean, it's actually shocking, but tell us if it's true. Is there this feud between the National Emergency Management Agency and the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency? And what is this all about?
Yeah, thank you, Chamberlain. It's a thing that is brewing, and it is good we nip it in the bud before it escalates. Actually, I received a letter yesterday in my office, written and signed by the Commissioner for Special Duties, who supervises LASEMA, the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency. And that is my reason for coming today. Because I've watched the development unfolding. Our men being chased out of incident scenes repeatedly for about 4 times. Because I do not see where Dr. Femi Oke-Osanyintolu got the information from that NEMA, the umbrella body of emergency management in Nigeria, is not supposed to be at an incident scene. So I was waiting to get my facts right before I assign him. But eventually, I have some dossier to tell him that he is very, very wrong indeed.
Did he actually say that? You have it on...
Oh, I have it on record. And I have it on voice. But that you cannot actually hold on to that. But not until yesterday that pen was committed to paper for all to see.
What did he say?
They are saying that NEMA is not supposed to be at an incident scene until called by the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency.
LASEMA will
LASEMA.
Wait. If an emergency, if a disaster happens,
sure.
The letter says that LASEMA, that's the Lagos State Emergency Agency,
takes control.
Will take control
until they are overwhelmed, and there is need to call NEMA.
Is that how both of you have been working before?
It's a thing of recent, and I'm surprised to hear that we've been working, collaborating, cooperating together before now. Suddenly there is this ego, and I don't want to see you. You should not talk to press, and the rest of that.
They say you should not talk to press?
Sure. Let me paint the picture. Before we go on, I want you to note 2 things. What is an emergency? And you will now decide, Nigerians will decide, whether NEMA should be involved or not. An emergency is a life-threatening situation that requires prompt and immediate attention for the purpose of this discourse. Whereas a disaster is a serious disruption to the functioning of a society, resulting in monumental losses of life, materials, and environmental losses, which exceeds the capacity of the affected population to cope using only its own resources. I'm yet to see where a particular agency is so self-sufficient that it will not need the resources of other collaborating agencies. See what happened in California at the San Francisco airport recently. Before you know it, FEMA was there. FEMA did not wait to be called by the emergency agency of the state of California. Why? And these are supposedly sufficient agencies. Not to talk of Nigeria, where emergency management practice is still in its embryo. NEMA is 14 years by its act that set it up in 1999. As of this year, NEMA is 14 years. SEMA, in any state, the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency Act 16 of 2008 makes it to be 5 years in this year. So tell me, what experience has LASEMA got that will determine that NEMA should not be involved in its activities? As an umbrella body, the coordinating agency of disaster management in the nation Nigeria.
Well, has anyone, because now you're saying you got an official letter from the Commissioner of Special Duties here in Lagos State, making that, well, official, asking you to back off. What does that letter entail? Is it just to back off? Has there been any kind of disagreement between NEMA and LASEMA before this mail?
I told you that the feud is brewing. It has not yet escalated. But when I saw him on China's television for 2 days consecutively, some 3 days ago, saying that NEMA is a secondary responder to emergencies in Nigeria, I was taken aback. And the Lagos State Emergency Management Act itself runs contrary to the position of Dr. Oke-Osanyintolu.
How? Where? What portion?
All right. You see, I do not make frivolous statements. If you go, you have iPads there. Google Lagos State Emergency Management Agency. What will come to you is that the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, was established via LASEMA Law 16 of 2008 for emergency and disaster management in the state in pursuance to, please note, to Decree 12 of 1999 as amended by Act 50 of the same year, which established the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. That means that LASEMA is actually an offshoot of the national body. That is not alone. Going down the line, LASEMA the law maintains that the law that sets up LASEMA did empower the agency to coordinate the activities of stakeholders, blah, 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 towards increasing response capability. And among these responders are, 1, first and primary responders that will work hand in hand with LASEMA in times of any emergency or disaster. And the agencies are thus: Lagos State Fire Service, Lagos State LASPHYDA. I want to assume that that is Lagos State Primary Healthcare Development Agency. Then NEMA is in the act of LASEMA itself. The LASEMA, RRS, and all of them like that. Now, both the GM of LASEMA and the supervising commissioner are maintaining that NEMA belongs to the secondary responders. And in this list, NEMA is not there. The secondary responders are Emergency Services Department of the General Hospitals, Julius Berger Nigeria Limited, Nigeria Maritime Authority. I will quote this inter area so that I will not say ETC, so that people will not say he has omitted NEMA. Nigerian Air Force, Nigerian Army, Nigerian Navy, and the Police Force. NEMA is nowhere there. The third level of response is the tertiary responders. And there are only 3 as far as the LASEMA law is concerned. And these 3 are NEMA, UNICEF, and WHO. In the nomenclature of emergency management, I do not see this kind of tertiary whatever. But if it's only 2 stages, primary, secondary, and that's all. But if it is so, for you as a state to be able to access any funding or donation or aid from the international community, you have to go through your sister agency at the federal level because you don't have direct relationship with them. And as such, they put NEMA, WHO, and UNICEF for it to start as a stepping stone to get into.
I think, sorry, Nyota, if you let me let me come in here quickly, because I think we're getting to see the picture why sometimes looks like we always have well, some kind of lapse in emergency response in the country. Looks like we always have some kind of conflict within these agencies as to how to come to the rescue of those in dire need. Is that what it is?
So, excuse me, if you are a first responder, it implies that you must be prompt. Listen to the declaration of emergency. Life-threatening situation that needs prompt and immediate attention. You must be prompt. And as such, you take control. No problems. But for goodness sake, do not drive away your collaborators. There is a document here which stipulates how you work in conjunction with other emergency management agencies. This is called Search and Rescue and Epidemic Evacuation Plan, SAREP. In this plan, all types of disaster scenarios that are possible in Nigeria have been spelled out, and the coordinating agencies have been spelled out too. Then, particular case of collapsed building, this plan has stipulated what equipment you need to address it effectively and efficiently to save lives. And the list of equipments are 34.
And in your opinion, LASEMA doesn't have this equipment?
Wait. If LASEMA has the equipment, number 1 to 34, get it right, you may not likely have about 5 of each of the items. Maybe you have 1 or 2 of the critical items. What of wear and tear? We know the workings of government. You have to follow a lot of bureaucracy before you get budgetary provision, before you procure such equipment. Even if it's not wearing, and you are using a particular equipment at a site, it can develop some problems. Then if a stakeholder is around, you deploy his own.
Let me ask you a question. I mean, some people would be glad if they are told that, okay, you don't have to be a part of this. Just wait, when we need you, we'll call you. Why is it a bother to you?
Why is it not a bother? Nigeria is a federating state, we accept. Emergency management is in the concurrent list of the Constitution. States and federal governments are involved. So you do your own, I do my own. But then, we are talking of human life here. If there is no lapses, if it is the response of the LASEMA is prompt, I will give you an instance and I can back it up with facts. If it's prompt, I will say thank God, because 90% of our efforts, resources, money is spent in Lagos State alone, out of 6 states that covers the Southwest.
So what's the eye instance?
Even the wahala is sufficient for you to say, oh, thank God, take your baby. Then what do you tell Nigerians?
You're going to give us an instance.
I will give you.